Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited to be back for week one edition of the 2021 season. Back with fans. Watched a football game last night with fans in the stands. It was great. Felt great to be back. Welcome back, everybody. This is the BSB. I'm Sean Kaus.
I'm Tony James.
And we are your betting strategy brothers. BS, I'm so happy to be back with you. I missed you, brother.
I missed you, and it was really cool to watch that game last night and actually see people in the stadium. Man, it was like someone put me in a time box and sent me back 2 years or something. It was so cool.
Yeah, and you could see it in even college last week. Like you could see, and it showed in the players too. It didn't just show in the fans being there. It didn't show. It showed in the players. The players you could tell were definitely different because of it.
Oh yeah, you could totally see that in especially in the college games. That Wisconsin game last week was unreal to watch the atmosphere there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the pro dudes this weekend. And yeah, let's see what happens. Let's make some money, man. Let's make some money.
I agree. So just in case it's your first time joining us, or if you forgot from last season, we're a couple of teachers that love to gamble. And we love to gamble in all sorts of different ways, but we're specifically talking about betting on football. Mainly, we did a little hockey, a little baseball at the end of last season, but we're mainly talking about football. And we're here to teach you. We're not here to just say, hey, pick this team and that team, even though we're going to do that. But we're here to teach you about different bets that we like to do and what they mean and how to go about it. And maybe, just give you something to think about when you are placing your bets. Especially now too, since Arizona has legalized gambling, sports betting there. So it's not just Vegas. You got Vegas to the east. So that's what we're here to help give you guys some good stuff to think about and do.
Yeah, man. Especially with Arizona becoming a new hotbed. I mean, that's right there in our backyard, right? So we have a lot of knowledge to help you out with. And remember, it's all for fun, man. It's all for entertainment. We don't guarantee anything that we predict. It is 100% for fun.
Correct. So how we usually run this every week is we start with $100 each. We each get $100 to put on our bets and see where that goes. Hopefully we can take care of Vegas, make them pay us. Last year we did pretty good. This year we're going to do better. I know last year we did not update you guys as good as we should have. We said kind of what we did after each week, but we didn't tell you the finals. So we're going to make sure we do that this year. And once again, you can take our picks, you can run with them, or you can say you guys suck and stupid and go the opposite. I don't care. But we're just trying to give you something to think about.
Yeah, man, take them to the window or fade them to the window, whatever you want to do. Or maybe what we do, Kaus, is we're giving people something different to look at. So maybe if we're not looking at their game or their favorite team, they can say, oh, I never thought about how much impact the weather could have. Or I never thought about, how Hawaii only plays 4 road games a year or something like that. And maybe they can think about that and take that to the window the next time they go.
Yeah, I agree. And that's all we're here to do. Something else we do every week is we have our flavor of a week. I know we both enjoy having a little Sunday fun day and make it funner. We have some a little beverage this week. I'm trying to cut down on the LBs. It's not going very well, but I am trying small steps, baby steps. This week I am going with Corona Premier. It's kind of the non-fat version of the Corona, and that's Corona the drink, not Corona the sickness. But you can also kind of sort of see behind me, I am broadcasting today live from San Diego. I am on vacation out here in San Diego, not in Arizona today. So enjoying some Coronas by the beach.
That sounds delightful. I wish I was able to make it there, but I have this thing called a job. Sometimes it gets in the way, and it's terrible. Holy smokes.
Well, hopefully we can make enough money doing this someday that we don't have to have that problem.
Oh, that would be rad. That would be awesome. Well, I've got as you know, I live down the road from one of my favorite local breweries called Evans Brewery in Corona, and this is a Stradilac Eldorado, kind of a play on the Cadillac Eldorado. And I've got my Battleborn koozie for tomorrow, so I am ready to go. And yeah, I've been waiting all week to have one of these, and
So what kind of brew is that? Is that a deeper one? Is that an ale one? What do we got?
so it's kind of they advertise it as an IPA, but it's very light. It's not as bitter as some of the other ones that you see around. So very crushable, and I appreciate that, especially on Sundays.
Nice. So, Corona Premier is all over the place.
Mhm.
Evans Brewery isn't, but if you guys ever want Evans Brewery, you can talk to one of us and we can figure out a way to get you guys some Evans Brewery. We know some ways. So,
Oh yeah.
I know I've gotten some in the mail and it
Mhm.
was definitely awesome.
Well, now especially, I'm not trying to be like, you know, sloppy over them, but now that things are opening up a little bit, their tasting room is fantastic. Super mellow. They have all these retro games in there, which are fun to play. Always interesting food. So yeah, if you get a chance, come on out and we'll show you around.
Heck yeah. All right. So before we get into our actual picks, talk about the games this week. We're just going to talk about the main bets we do, and we'll get in more and more as the season goes. But the main things we like to do, first one are your basic straight bets. Okay, and your straight bets are your overs or your unders, your money line or your spread. So when you're talking about money line, you're talking no points, straight up who wins the game. And if you have the underdog, your odds are way in your favor, and you're going to make some money. If you have the favor, then it's going to take you a lot of money to make money. But I've always said it from time to time. I don't care if I'm making $5. A win is a win. I'll take a favorite all day long as I think they're going to win. I don't care if it takes me $100 to win 20. I'll take that bet all day long just because I know they're going to win. Because a win is a win. So,
Mhm.
and then the over under. How many points in a game between both teams. Last night's was like 52 and a half, and the final was like 70 something points or something like that. So they went way over. But you could just a straight bet is just taking one of those, one at a
Mhm.
time, betting on them, and seeing what happens. If you take the spread, if you take the over under, those odds are not as good as your money line bets, but they're there for you.
Yeah, and we also enjoy, the occasional parlay or four during the week, where what we do is we'll pick up multiple teams, anywhere from two to five or six, and it's a bigger payout for you if everything hits. It's a little bit bigger risk in that you have, multiple things that have to come through, but the reward at the end is considerably more than if you just bet one game per ticket. So we like those. We also like teaser bets where we can change the odds in our favor. Buy some points there. Uh, it it makes the odds a little bit worse for us. My $20 might not win me nearly as much as it would on a parlay or a straight bet, but we in theory are trying to give us a better chance to win. And Caus, I don't know about you, man, but a win is a win, and I'll never apologize for one.
I agree. I agree. And something else with the parlay too. It's not only just to make the odds in your favor to go, hey, I think these games are going to hit, and I'm going to try to make a lot of money. It's also to go, man, especially in college games, you're going to get money line where it's minus 1,000 or minus 5,000, and crazy ones where it's like, I'm going to spend $100 to make 5 cents. And even though I say I'll take that all day long, that's a little too little bit for me. I
Mhm.
won't do that. So sometimes you want to throw those in a parlay to at least kind of make. I saw a friend of mine today put in a 13 team college parlay, and it was 100 to win 118 because he took
Mhm.
all the favorites and they were all like minus 2,000. And so parlays do that for you too. They make it to where it's like, okay, I'm going to pick my favorites. They're all going to win. I know they're going to win. I at least want to make something out of it instead of 100 to win 20 cents.
Yeah, it totally balances out too. So that's really nice because I don't know about you, but if I'm putting $100 down on a ticket, I'd really prefer to get something more than considerably more than $100 back when I go back. So that's a great way to look at it.
I agree. I definitely am the person, and you're seeing a lot of my picks where as long as I know it's gonna happen, it's gonna win. I'll take less money as long as I
Mhm.
like 100% for sure, but not that less. It's got to be a decent amount. So
For sure, for sure.
so let's get right into it. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with my straight picks.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
First thing I'm going to start with those Titans. They're playing Arizona. I'm taking them on the money line. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the spread was like 3 or 3.5 when I last looked.
You're not going to make a lot of people happy with that pick, but I actually think it's a very smart one.
Well, it's in Tennessee. I don't think weather is going to be a factor at all. I mean, it's still too early in the season for weather to really be a factor unless you're in the Hurricane Alley there and stuff like that. But Arizona made a lot of moves. And if you've been a fan of the show, you know I'm not a big fan of Arizona no matter what. But Arizona made a lot of moves. They picked up some good receivers. They beefed up their D. I just think QB1 is their problem. I think that's their biggest in both him and their coach are on the hot seat Kingsbury. They're both on the hot seat this year. And I don't care what anybody says, they're both on the hot seat. Now, it could be the third year. Josh Allen last year made his third year incredible. Kyler Murray could do that and make me look like an idiot, and that's fine. But I just don't see it from him. I don't see that happening. Tennessee has too many weapons. They look too good. Tannehill is an underrated quarterback. He's been a playoff quarterback since he's been in Tennessee. He's too good. So they're minus 155. That's $25. I'm going to put 25 of my own dollars on it to make only 16. So it's one of those where I'm not making a lot, but I'm pretty sure they're going to win. Now, I think it's going to be close. That's why I'm not taking the points. But 25 to win 16.
I think that's super smart. And a lot of times in week one, really what you have to look at is you have to look at maybe the last few weeks of the season before. The preseason is just shit. I mean, let's just be honest with you. I mean, just to give you an example, the Raiders, I don't even think Derek Carr played in the preseason. So, you can only take that for what it is. But you're exactly right. Like Ryan Tannehill, I don't know what happened to him when he got to Tennessee, but all of a sudden he looks like an all-pro when he couldn't do crap in Miami. And yes, this is put up or shut up for Arizona. And then you have that travel too. I mean, it's Arizona to Nashville. It's only like 1,800 to 2,000 miles. But you're going to the edge of the Central Time Zone, about as far as you can get without getting to the Eastern Time Zone. So, and it's a morning kick. So that doesn't really play in Arizona's favor. I like Tennessee a lot.
No, and something else too, and we mentioned this a little earlier. Kyler Murray has never had to perform with fans. Now, his first year, there were fans in the stands, but there were no expectations. Rookie year, come out, do whatever. Last year, there was expectations, but there was no fans. Nobody harassing him. Nobody making him harder for him to make a call within the red zone or leaving after a touchback or whatever. Nobody making it hard on him when there were there's huge expectations on him now, and he has to fight fans in the stands. I don't think that's a good combination for him when he basically went rookie year, no fans. Now he's going back to it. I don't think it's a good combo, so I don't like that for him. Staying with your Raiders, my other pick, one of my other straight picks. I like your Raiders +4. Okay, I'm taking them +4. I don't know if they're going to win straight out. I think it's going to be close no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's 15 to win 13, so it's almost even money. But I think Baltimore's too hurt. Now we can, and I've said it all day long. Lamar Jackson has been Baltimore's running back forever, even though he's a running back that throws, and I think a lot of people say that. But two of their running backs are out. They just lost a cornerback. It's like they're too depleted. And if anything happens now, and you look, they lost two of their running backs. Now, even their third string, he hasn't had a lot of reps. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You can say whatever you want about Lamar. There's too much that can happen there with that. I just think Vegas, it's in Vegas. First time Vegas has fans ever. The first game that Las Vegas will ever have fans. So I just think they're going to come too pumped up. I think, like you said, Derek Carr has rest. He's got stuff to prove. The only thing that goes against are 2-6 at home, but that was last year with no fans. So what do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that for about 3 minutes here because I have some thoughts on that because I picked that game as well. So I'll let you go to your next one.
All right, my last straight pick. I'm going to Buffalo-Pittsburgh game. You guys know I'm a diehard Bills fan. Go Bills Mafia. However, I think the spread might be too. I don't know. I'm so all over the place. I mean, I don't think Ben is going to be back, but I've saw reports where he's in the best shape ever. Who knows? They always say that. TJ Watt is back. He just signed that huge contract, but he hasn't been playing, so I don't think he's going to be good. But they just got what's his name, that running back. Oh my God, they just drafted that running back.
Oh yeah,
Jesus,
I'm
my mind just went blank. But anyway, Buffalo's big problem last year was run defense.
mhm.
And he Najee Harris, that's his name. Jeez, I had to find it in my notes. Najee Harris, and I think Najee's going to be a stud in the NFL. He might run all over Buffalo, and as much as I hate to admit it, that was their weak spot last year. And I don't think they really did a lot to beef it up. They did a couple of pickups, but I don't think it's going to be enough to pick it up. So I worry that that's what's going to keep them in the game is Buffalo's lack of run defense. But I think Josh Allen is going to throw it all over them, and I'm taking the over. Even though I think they might cover, they're probably going to cover the spread, and I think they're going to win outright. I think more guaranteed is the over. If they run all day on them, Buffalo scores in heartbeats, especially with the receivers they have, with the receiving core they have now. Like, I think they're going to score all day long. I think 48 is way too low. So I'm going to take 20 to win 19 on that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great call. I think that game is going to be a score fest. I really do. I wouldn't be surprised to see that game approach 60 total. So I think that's a great pick.
I agree with you. So what do you got? What are your straight picks?
Well, I picked two. I went with the Jets on the money line this week at Carolina, which conventional wisdom would tell you got a new coach in New York. You have new offensive coordinator, new defense coordinator, a rookie quarterback. You have a team that's basically rebuilding on the fly, going against a team in Carolina that showed some promise last year, but they also have a new quarterback who happens to be the Jets' old quarterback. And you've got Christian McCaffrey coming off a injury-riddled year. So everything points to Carolina. I really like the Jets. I think that they're. I think this coach that they brought in. I think he's the guy. I like his background. The Jets have not beaten Carolina in 12 years. I think that changes in week 1, and I think they get up in Darnold's face and make him make mistakes. And if you can, and we saw that when he was with the Jets, if you can get him flustered and he makes mistakes, you're going to have a better chance of success. So I like the Jets to win this on the money line. I'm going to put 18 on it, and when they win, I'm going to walk off with $30.
Oh, getting your plus money. I like it. And I agree. Robert Saleh, however the heck you say his last name, he is a phenomenal defensive mind, one of the greatest defensive minds there is in the game right now. I don't think Sam Darnold is good. And we say, quarterbacks can go to a new system and be good. I don't think Darnold is. I think him and Rosen were the two in that draft that should not have been drafted where they were. I don't think it was just Rosen. I think it was Darnold too. So, and I think they're going to underestimate Wilson. I think Darnold's going to use his emotions to try to run this game, and it's not going to work for him. So I agree with you 100%.
That's exactly what I'm betting on. No pun intended. And then I'm also jumping on the Raider bandwagon. I mean, that's my team, and this is year 4 of the return of Chucky, and this is put up or shut up. This team is playoffs or bust. Derek Carr's in the last year of his contract. They've upgraded the defense tremendously, and just by getting Gus Bradley as the DC is doing wonders for that defense. The defenses look good in the preseason, which is optimistic. And to go along with what you said earlier, Baltimore is just so banged up. I mean, they just signed Latavius Murray today, and they're probably going to be giving him the ball a few times. So it's like literally off the heap. So I think Vegas wins this game. I'm going to take the 4. I think they win it outright. I'm going to put 22 on it and walk away winner.
I like I said earlier, I agree with you wholeheartedly and everything. And in most, and I think it's a closer game with Baltimore not being banged up. I think Vegas runs away with it a little bit here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, this is their first game with a full house in the regular season. Emotions are going to be the players are going to be amped. Everybody's going to be ready to go. I really don't. I'm not going to say it's like the Hurricane Katrina return for the Saints, but I think that those fans in the stands is going to be worth at least 7 points and 4 penalties.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Well, and that the fans on top of half the offense of not knowing what's going on, that's good. You're going to have penalties right there. So
for sure,
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of, is that defense really better than they were last year? And I have no reason to think that they're not.
Yeah, I don't see how they couldn't be. So just to recap, I put $60 on my straight picks. Tony put 40 on his straight picks. And now we're going to go ahead and switch to our parlays. I'm going to start. I'm going college, and I think it looks like you're doing college too on your parlay.
For sure.
We love our Saturday full of, as much as I love the NFL, and I mean, I love football altogether, but there's nothing better than sun up to sundown and past that having football. And as much as the NFL has a lot of football all day on Sunday, it does not compare to how much football there is in college, and it's amazing. So I love my Saturdays.
Dude, the first game tomorrow starts at 8:30 Pacific time. It's unreal. I love it. I don't even care if it's Army and somebody else. It's football. So I totally feel you there.
I agree. So, all right, I got a 14 parlay. In two of my teams in here are really I got USC as my first one. They're minus 900. 900. So if I were taking them straight up on a bet, and this is money line, so there's no points. If I were taking them straight up just themselves, I would have to put $900 down just to win 100. So that's why I'm putting them in this parlay, because I think they got a good chance of winning. Another team in that same boat, I'm taking Notre Dame. They're minus 850. So I'm putting them in there. Now another one. UB, I'm staying on my Buffalo train. I stayed on them last year, won a lot of money with UB. I'm going to go back to them again this year. They're plus 14.5, and I'm going to take that. Now, my odds go way down with that because they're only minus 115 when they're plus 14.5. But I'm putting them in the parlay. That helps. And then my last one in that parlay, which is kind of a coin flip, is Hawaii, and I'm taking them plus 10.5. Now, USC is home versus Stanford. USC, they're showing that they're the real deal again. Stanford came out and laid an egg last week, and they just look bad, and they're not going to be good this year. I don't think at all. Nope. Notre Dame, Toledo's at Notre Dame. Toledo had a couple years they were like, oh, we're going to try to make a run at it. This ain't going to be that year. They're getting smoked all over the place. UB has played Nebraska. Now, I think this is going to be one of the great games of the weekend, period, for all the games. I think this is going to be one of the great games. Look, UB, I understand they play in the MAC. I understand they're not playing a lot of teams, but they're running over teams like they're nothing. They need some good competition. I don't think Nebraska's that good this year. They lost to Illinois and then they
beat Fordham last week.
Fordham, that's right.
Yeah,
nobody. So, and I think UB is ready to break out and show people that they're ready to compete and be in the top 25. I think, and that's. I mean, college-wise, I always support UB. I support Syracuse being from that area. ASU is my team, so I'm not. That's not just a homer pick. I really do think that they're poised and ready. Now, Hawaii, the only biggest knock on Hawaii is they're at Oregon State. And like you said earlier, they've won like 12 games on the road in the past 40 years.
They're literally 13-53 in the last 10 years on the road.
Jeez. But if they're at Oregon State, I don't know what to think about them yet this year. I honestly don't know what to think about Hawaii either. But I still think Hawaii has the right stuff to at least. I think it's going to be a touchdown game. Oregon State might win it, but I think it's going to be a touchdown game. But notice that two of these games are Pac-12 games where the Pac-12 is last week half of them looked fantastic, the other half looked terrible, and they could flip-flop this week. And that's kind of what I'm banking on with the Hawaii Oregon State is that. Maybe they won't flip, and Oregon State's still going to look like crap. So my $20 is going to win me $69. Whereas if I would have taken each one of those individually, $20 would have won me like 18 at the most. So that's why I put them all together in a parlay. $20 to win $69.
Yeah, I think that's super good strategy. I really like Buffalo tomorrow. Nebraska is not impressing me. They hired Scott Frost to turn around the program, and he has not done it, and he is on the hot seat as well. And then Hawaii, yeah, I mean Oregon State, like the dregs of the Pac-12. If Hawaii can do anything on offense, if they can do anything, um, they can cover that 10.5 easily. So even though it is on the road, so I like those picks a lot. I think you're going to go to the window, and that's a nice parlay, $69. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
All right, what do you got on your parlay is also college? Tell me what you're feeling here.
It is. I got TCU minus 11.5 over Cal. I watched Cal against Nevada last week. Cal's junk. Cal scored 2 quick touchdowns, and then for some reason they just forgot how to play. And
Another Pac-12.
yeah, and it was really surprising because they were controlling the line of scrimmage. I think Nevada ran 3 plays in the first period, and then all of a sudden, in the second quarter rolls around, and they just abandoned all their strategy, and it was just a disaster for them. I like TCU at home. I like San Diego State +2 over Arizona. Arizona is junk. They are rebuilding in a big way. They may have I don't know, they may have the right coach in there. They may not, but they're junk.
As long
Um,
as they stay in the basement all day long, I don't care.
oh yeah,
Forks up, baby. Forks up.
and San Diego State, they're coming off a tough win, but I think they may have been looking ahead a little bit. So I'll take San Diego State, and I got Arizona State over 54 against UNLV. I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona State scored 54 on their own, because UNLV is, and I'm not biased or anything, but
Yes, you are.
dude, that team could foul up a peanut butter sandwich. So they are bad. So there's my $20 is going to win me $111. TCU at home minus 11.5. San Diego State on the road +2, and Arizona State at home over 54.
In I love, especially I love, like, hey, 20 to win 111. I'll take that all day long.
Yep.
TCU, I think, covers in a big way. SDSU, I'm actually surprised that SDSU is the underdog there. To be honest with you, I thought they would have been favored. So getting 2 points definitely like is huge for you. The only thing I worry about is the ASU over. Okay, I am a Devils fan, and I agree with you that they can score. UNLV is terrible, and they can score 54 with their eyes closed. Here's the problem. I mean, last week, ASU played Southern Utah, who is also junk. Southern Utah put up 2 touchdowns on them, but it was the first game. Once Southern Utah scored those 2 touchdowns, ASU figured it out, said, oh, we're here to play, and they shut that down. But so I think they'll come out ready. I think that was his first game last week. The problem is Herm Edwards is their coach, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a good way. Herm Edwards does not run up scores. Okay, he doesn't. I mean, when you look, he traditionally does not run up scores. So that's where if you have UNLV going into the third quarter and ASU is up 42 to nothing, Herm Edwards is not going to drive it into the throw. He's going to hand the ball off and say, stop him. And he's not going to tell him to stop running, but he's not going to be throwing bombs and throwing passes and everything. He's just going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. So I always worry about ASU in the over when they can cream somebody, because Herm Edwards does not like to run up the score. And I love that about him as a coach myself. I'm not a big person on running up the score. So I think that's commendable. It's just when you're betting, it makes it a little tough. So that's the only part of that worry. I still like that, but that does worry me a little bit.
Well, yeah, it makes it hard. And you bring up a great point. When you have a team that's so much better, so much better than the team that they're playing, when you bet the over, you face that possibility where a team gets up 42-0 going into the fourth quarter, and then they just sit on their hands. And so now you're banking on the terrible team to come through with backdoor touchdowns to win your card. And that's one that you sweat out more often than not. So that is a valid point. And the other side of it, though, Callis, and this is just a personal preference for me, is I don't like betting unders because I'm rooting for boring games. And if if I have the choice, I'm gonna bet the over because I think it's more interesting. Yeah, it's a sucker bet in a way because you're losing the entire time until you
Mm.
finally get the 54 in this case. But it's something that you can like. I would rather root for offense than sit there and bet the under and root for defense. It just, especially in a college game with these guys all fired up. So yeah, but you're totally right. That's a possibility. I mean, I ate that last week with
Well,
Nevada in the over. So
yeah. Well, and you look at ASU last week; it was 41-14. It's 50 over 55, but I don't know if UNLV can score 2 touchdowns. So
I don't think they could score 2 touchdowns with the defense off the field.
hopefully ASU gets up by 40 in the first half, and then they'll score 2 touchdowns, just handing the ball off to their JV squad, and you'll be fine.
70-7 sounds good.
All right, let's get into some teasers now.
Let's do it.
Lost the handy dandy notebook. Yes, it is a handy dandy notebook that I do write everything down in. Teasers. So teasers are you basically are buying points, okay? And it acts like a parlay where you have to have multiple teams. You cannot just tease one game. You have to tease multiple. And you can pick how many points you want: 6, you want 6.5, you want 7, whatever. But it puts it in your favor. Okay, so if you're picking the underdog, you're getting points. If you're picking the overdog, you're getting more points. So it goes in your favor. So I enjoy teasers, even though because you're making more in your favor, your odds go way down, even more so. I still enjoy teasers because it makes it less to worry about while you're watching. So I'm going to start. Mine is I got Buffalo -0.5. They're -6.5.
Homer.
Yeah, well, it is a homer, but I think they win that game no matter what.
Too.
But Buffalo -0.5. They're -6.5. I teased it. I got 6 points, so they're -0.5. Buffalo's going to Super Bowl this year. Jets. We already talked about the Jets winning. They were +3.5. So when I take the 6, now they're +9.5. Tennessee, I already talked about them. They're -3, so I'm going to go ahead and make them +3. I'll take the points on that. The Chargers, the LA Chargers. I cannot believe they're a pickup. I can't. I can't. So I don't see it. And once again, Vegas has proven a lot of times that they know way more about this than I do, even though I feel like we know a lot. I think they know way more than I do. But Herbert, I don't think he has a sophomore slump. Fitzpatrick, I know he has Fitzmagic every first 5 weeks of the season. He's got Fitzmagic, but it's a Washington football team, and I understand it's Ron Rivera, but it's still Fitzpatrick. Like, I love him. I love him. He's always a Bill in my book, and I love him. But I don't. I think Herbert comes out and rules him. I don't care that it's in Washington. But I don't understand why it's a pickup. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take the 6 points with the Chargers, which is a touchdown. And then the Rams over Chicago, Andy freaking Dalton. That's all I got to say. And I love him. I love what he did for Buffalo years ago. Got him in the playoffs. Thank you so much, Andy Dalton. Great dude. I love listening to him talk, but not a very good quarterback. So, I think Fields is starting in week 3 in that. I don't think he goes very far in that. But right now it's Dalton. And I'm going to go ahead. Rams are -9. I'm going to go ahead and tease that up to -3. I think they win by probably 2 or 3 touchdowns. And then we already talked about Vegas. I'm teasing them up to +10. I think they might win outright. If not, they're going to might lose by a field goal at the most. So I'm going to tease them up. So all those teams, that's 2, 4, 6 teams I had to put together. I'll get 120 for my 20. Not a bad bet, especially for a teaser. But yeah, I like that. I think that makes it all in my favor.
I think it looks great. I echo your sentiment on the LA Chargers. I think they're going to be sneaky good, and I can't stand the Chargers. I make a habit of hate watching the Chargers. It's that bad. I think they ruined football for this market. But I think they're decent, and I don't know why I agree with you. I don't know why it's a pick 'em. I don't know why they're not favored. I think they roll in. The only thing that concerns me with the Chargers this week is the travel. That's the only thing that concerns me. Other than that, I think they're a much, much better team than Washington. So, I agree with you 100%. The Rams, the Bears are just they suck. The Bears still suck. They
Yeah.
really, really suck. And so, that's just how it is. What's funny is I read something in the past couple of weeks that the Raiders tried to reacquire Khalil Mack, which was very interesting to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have cost them another first round pick, but I think they're having a little. They're happy with that they got draft capital back, but I think they're having a little buyer's remorse or seller's remorse, I should say, that they had to give Mack up to get it. So, but
Hey.
Mack might be the best player on that team. That's pretty sad.
Right, former UB Bull.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you got for your teaser?
Well, here's what I did, man. I did it in a morning and an afternoon because I like to do that.
Smart. That is so smart. Tell everybody why you like to do that.
Well, I just like to do it because if I bet a bunch of morning games and they come through, I can go to the window in between games, and then I can take that money and roll it over to my afternoon games. If for some reason they don't come through in the morning, I still have my afternoon tickets that I have action with. So I don't mix the times with my NFL action in most cases. It's usually, I usually do an AM, I do a PM, I do a Sunday night, and then I do a Monday night. And that's just something that I just prefer to do.
I envy you for that. Every time I'm like, God, I love that. I wish I got to keep doing that. I got to start doing that, because what happens is I'll hit all my morning and my parlay and my teasers. Mm-hmm. I'll hit all my morning, and then I won't put anything on the afternoon because I know those are going. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And then I don't hit the afternoon. Or I have those going and I put more in the afternoon, and then I lose everything and I'm just pissed off. And so I wish I got to get in that habit.
Yeah, it's I don't know why, but when I started betting, I think it was just something that I looked at and go, you know what, this makes a little bit of sense to me. And you know what else is good is if you're having a little too much fun on Sunday, and you have all that morning action come in, and you make some money, and you go home and take a nap and sleep out the afternoon action, and then you're ready for Sunday night.
Ooh, that's a good call.
So
anyway. Call.
Here's what I've got, man. I've got the Colts +9 against the Seahawks. I'm not sure what the Seahawks are doing. They try to run Russell Wilson out of town, and now all of a sudden they want him back in town. That being said, I really don't know what the Colts are doing. I'm basically taking this because they're at home, and 9 points for me is a lot to give up as a home team. That's hard to pass up. So I'm taking Indianapolis +9, San Francisco -3, new beginnings in Detroit, but same old crappy Lions. I think the 49ers are gonna walk away with the division this year. So I like the 49ers. They're actually healthy for once, which is nice. I like Atlanta over 42.5. They're playing the Eagles inside. I think that's a really good for the Falcons, and I also like the Chargers +6. So my $20 is going to win me 49, and then I can go take a nap.
Yeah. So I love you, but I got to disagree with you on a lot of this. Obviously, we agree on the Chargers. Got the Colts. I love Frank Reich. I don't know what the hell they were thinking this offseason. Dumb. I understand what you're saying at home, but Seattle last year they only allowed 3.9 yards against the rush. Mm-hmm. That's all India's going to be able to do. They don't have a freaking quarterback. Carson Wentz. Last I saw, he was still questionable. And even if he plays, he's not good. Like, I don't know what they were thinking there. I don't think Indy is good this year. That defense is not going to be enough for them to rely on. If it's not Wentz, it's Eason, and
they have to find a way to get the ball to Michael Pittman Jr. They just have to find a way.
They do, but Seattle has a new OC, so maybe that goes in their favor. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So I don't know if I let you. I agree. 9 points at home, that's a lot. But man, I don't know.
Yeah,
Eh,
that'll be it. I think that's the one that I'll have to sweat out the most, to be honest.
yeah. Well, dude, San Francisco -3. Look, I understand it's Jared Goff, new team in Detroit. We always said Pat Stafford, and
Mhm.
Pat Stafford is going to be the same in the Rams. It's just now he's going to have more of a team and more of a coaching staff. I think this is going to be his biggest plus. He's going to have a
Mhm.
better coaching staff in the Rams to try to get somewhere. I don't think McVay is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think he's a good coach. I think he's got a good coaching staff. So I think
Mhm.
Stafford's going to do a lot better there. I think Goff, the only reason he looked good was because of his coaching staff. And so when he goes to Detroit, where the coaching staff's terrible, he's going to be terrible. I understand it's new beginnings, but I still don't think that Campbell is the right coach. So Goff has also got a terrible record against San Fran,
Mhm.
but San Fran also has Jimmy G back. Who knows? I didn't think Jimmy G was the all. I don't want to say ultimate. Jimmy G was great at being a game manager. Stats weren't great for him. He learned that under Brady being a game manager,
Mhm.
but he's had a year off. The year before, yeah, he led him all the way, but he didn't do much to do that. And parts of the year he was out hurt. I don't see it coming back. And then the last problem here, Atlanta Philly over. I understand 42 and a half. 42 and a half is small. We talked about betting over, but God, seriously?
Do
Do
you think
you?
that which side do you think is it you think it's Philadelphia side or you think it's the Atlanta
Yes.
side?
No, I don't think that Matty Ice is going to be putting up numbers. He doesn't have his number one target anymore. Julio Jones is gone, so I don't think he's got that to go on. But you got Jalen Hurts, and while he looked good last year, I don't think he's going to be ready to put up a lot of points. That's what I'm worried about. I
Mhm.
think Matty Ice also tries to get Kyle Pitts going, and Kyle Pitts is great. Don't get me wrong; his debut is going to be phenomenal. I think, but I think it's going to be too much tight end, short stuff, and that's I think is going to hurt your over.
Yeah, I mean that's the one that well, I do think the Indianapolis one is the one that's going to be the one that I sweat out the most. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Atlanta plays now without Julio Jones. They pretty much ran him out of town. Um,
Well, and
and
both teams have new coaches,
well, that's
so
that's true too.
I don't like
Um,
it. That
yeah,
scares me, brother. That scares me.
that's all right. That's why we bet an afternoon parlay too.
I agree. What do you got in your afternoon parlay
Well,
or teaser,
this
not parlay, teaser?
this teaser would win my almost win my money back. I'll take the Giants +9 at home against the Broncos. I got Miami +9 against New England, and I'll be honest with you, that's kind of like one of those spite picks. But at the same time, because I can't stand the Patriots, but I really think Miami showed us something last year, and I think they keep that momentum going. Um, and I just who is Mac Jones? I don't trust him. I don't. It'll be obviously his first NFL start, and I think Miami's going to light him up. And then I also took the Rams against Chicago -3, so that 20 will give me $29.
And look, Giants, Denver, Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm.
Is Barkley okay? Is the answer there?
Yeah.
If he's playing, but is he okay?
Well, that's a huge question mark, right? Because that was last year. That was why did you finish with such a poor record? And even though you're still in the division hunt, it was like, well, Barkley's out, right? And Daniel Jones played decent, but he didn't play great. But how much of that is because he didn't have Saquon with him, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm man, I'm not sold on the Broncos at all. The next time the Broncos draft and develop a quarterback will be the first time, and
That's
and
why
they
they did it this year. They got Bridgewater. I
well,
think
and
that was the smartest thing they did.
you look at their past too. I mean, they acquired Peyton Manning, they acquired John Elway, they acquired, I mean, I can go down the list of
Yeah.
crap sack quarterbacks that they've tried out in between Elway and Manning, and then you have Drew Lock. Well, Drew Lock, shit. I mean, he's crap.
Yeah.
So the only thing that Denver, I think, has for them in this game is their defense.
Yeah. Von
But
Miller back.
yeah, but I think 9 is if I'm teasing that up to 9, I really like my chances.
Well, and that's where I think you get it on Miami, but I think New England wins that game. Look, and I said last year I liked the way Tua looked. He scared me. I didn't like that he was in Buffalo's division. But then the more I really broke it down, he didn't play anybody last year. He didn't do a good job. And then when he played somebody, he got smoked. Buffalo, when he played Buffalo, they smoked him. He had to leave in the like. I don't think Miami definitely showed something last year in their word. I just don't think Tua is it. I think he's on that same Kyler Murray train where I they look good, but I don't think they're going to be it. Mac Jones, he's yet to prove himself, but he was my favorite quarterback out of this draft. I don't think he comes in and blows people out of their minds, but +9 is your saving grace. I wouldn't take anything less than that. So
well, and this is going to be interesting, Kaus, because look at who's starting this week out of the draft.
yeah,
Zach Wilson starting.
yeah.
Um,
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is starting. Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
So there you are. Those were the top 3 quarterbacks taken, right? So, Trey Lance was taken. He's who knows? Starting. Maybe he'll show up.
Yeah.
But these 3 rookies are going to get a chance right out of the gate to show us what they're made of, and that's going to be very interesting. And as a bettor, though, that's really hard, man, because Trevor Lawrence was. I mean, God bless him, he was fantastic at Clemson, but does that translate to the NFL? Well, we've seen so many times that college success means jack crap in the NFL.
Well, and it doesn't mean I don't want to say it means jack crap. I mean, you look at Kyler Murray, you look at Baker Mayfield. You look at those people where it's like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, T-Law, they all came in at number 1 picks. And not that Baker Mayfield's not doing well. He's doing well statistically, but he's not getting wins. He's not taking them to the promised land. Like, I look at that more than I look at stats. And I'm a fantasy player and everything like that, and I love to see stats. But I want to see, can you take your team to the promised land, which is why, even though Allen had a lot of stats last year, he took his team farther than anyone expected, and they're actually getting some love this year. People like them to win the Super Bowl. I don't like that as a Bills fan. I don't like being a favorite. I like being the underdog, but that is one game we didn't talk about today was that Houston-Jacksonville game, Trey Lance versus Tyrod Taylor. The old Buffalo Bill.
You mean Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence, yeah, what did I say? Trey Lance?
I think you said Trey Lance. Well, they're very similar. Yeah, I mean.
But so that's a – we were afraid of that game, everybody. I'm telling you, we didn't bet the game because we were afraid. Who knows when you have the number 1 pick under Urban Meyer, who knows? You have Houston, who is a CF right now with what's going on. And you have to have Tyrod Taylor as your starting quarterback in week 1. And I love Tyrod, another former Bill that I'm a fan of, but he ain't that good. He ain't that good. So those are things you guys need to consider when you're betting. Just saying.
And you know what, Kaus, I'll be honest with you. If I have an extra couple shekels hanging around on Sunday, I might look at that game and go, I'll pick a side on it and see and roll the dice. But if I'm sitting here with my 100, I'm like, look, I'm picking my games that I'm feeling really confident about. And Jacksonville is just doesn't move the needle for me, and Houston moves the needle even less. So, yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you've had them too, man, where you have games and you're just like Allison Chains on it. You're like, stay away, and that's just how it is. Yeah. I very rarely on a Sunday have action on all 16 games. It's usually I pick 7 or 8 that I really like.
Yeah, I agree. I don't play them all. So,
no.
All right, guys, that concludes our week 1 edition. BS, I love you. It was fun.
Love
it's
you,
great
brother.
to be back.
Yes.
Hope everyone at home enjoyed it. Hope everybody is happy to have a normal season back. Let's take down Vegas together. Remember, hit us up with your betting questions. We're on Facebook at BSB Podcast 1. We're on Twitter. YouTube is where you're going to see this. You can email us. Hit us up with questions. We'll throw live stuff on there. I will be driving back to Arizona, so my live stuff might be a little later. But Tony is going to be out in Reno making some fun bets. So maybe he'll throw some live stuff on there that he's doing too, that we didn't get to cover in this broadcast. So pay attention to all those social media outcasts. And like we said before, this is purely for entertainment purposes. We do not guarantee everything. I wish we could, because then we'd all be millionaires.
Yes, and then we could quit our jobs.
I agree. All right, brother. I love you. See you next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Love you, Cal. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.